Oh, jeez. 2019, the 21 Silverado and Sierra. There's so much great about these trucks, but there are three specific things that are just straight up bad. Number one, automatic start and stop. Every person that owns this truck can relate to this. They turn off auto start stop every time they turn on their vehicle. There's nothing more annoying than having the engine just turn off. Number two, there's this thing called dynamic fuel management in which the truck can fire cylinders in 17 different patterns, essentially shutting down all the way to one cylinder, which creates fun helicopter noises out of your exhaust. And number three, it's the issues that these trucks are having with premature engine failure. When I say premature, within the first 10,000 miles, we are seeing a lot of these trucks, primarily the 6.2 liters, which is incredibly sad considering the price point of these new trucks, as well as that 6.2 being like the top tier model of the new Silverado. Which inevitably leads me to the purpose of today's video, which we have a part which will take care of all three of those issues. And it's called the Pulsar LT. So guys, aloha and welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to my little piece of paradise over here. If you guys are new, this is my literally piece of paradise. We have my absolute dream car, the Camaro ZL1. This is a 2017 model and actually undergoing a current called a 1LE full conversion. I'm trying not to show you, but behind the car, we actually have our brand new wheels that are gonna be going on the car. If they show up in today's video, it's on accident, not on purpose, but that's coming soon. Next up, we have the OG on the channel, the 2007 Silverado. Had this forever, love this truck. I have big plans for it. We just got a ton to get done first. And last but not least, our daily driver, our family vehicle, the 2020 Silverado Trail Boss. We've done a ton to it, but we got some big things coming very soon. So step number one in today's video, we do need to get the truck cleaned up. It's been a few weeks, it's been raining, and I'm sorry, because this is YouTube, I'm almost required to do it. Here's a few seconds montage of soap, washing cars, and water. Man, I swear guys, every time I wash this truck, it's so good looking, I love it. And we got a lot more coming for it. We have 4 large boxes in the back of that truck, which include aftermarket wheels I have been waiting on forever. And we got some massive tires we just purchased as well that are also waiting. And this last week's been kind of fun. Outside of the crazy work week, I've had the pleasure of meeting quite a few of you just so happenstance. I love hearing your stories, your vehicles, what you're doing to them. And my channel's by no means at a point where talking to you guys is an issue. Don't come knocking on my front door. My wife's a better shot than I am. Outside of all of that, love meeting you guys. But it's a good segue to say, also, if you have not subscribed to the channel yet, hit that subscribe button below, turn on the notification bell, because if you're watching this video on the Silverado, you're going to want to see what's coming up next and what's in the back of that truck going on there shortly. What's up, dude? Stand up trucks?
Yeah.
How's it?
What's up?
So guys, I apologize for all the background noises. It looks like Daddy Daycare has now joined the garage. Now, just over 3,000 miles ago, we installed this JLT oil catch can. A lot of fun stuff, a lot of fun experience getting this thing installed. But we have just driven over 3,000 miles, so we're actually gonna empty this now and see what type of crud has been caught within that catch can. Now, typically you wanna empty these every 3,000 miles, so let's get this thing opened up and emptied out and show you what we find. Also, as I'm pulling this out, I think there's a week left for the cold air inductions giveaway. So if you guys haven't entered that, I'll throw it in the description below. If you guys want a full cold air inductions intake, you just gotta give them your name and email and you're entered to win. Woo! Dang. Guys, that's only 3,000 miles. That would have been recirculated back into the intake and thrown over the intake ports and burned again through the motor. That's not good. If you have no idea what this is, the full video on the install, I'll link it right up there, or you can go in the description below after the video and go check this one out because that's disgusting. Safe to say, the catch can definitely works. You lock yourself in? Are you stuck in the car? All right, my 4-year-old's locked himself in the car. But it's time for the Pulsar LT install. What's cool about it, they say it actually doesn't void factory warranty. It says it on their website. The reason I've waited until now to do something like this is that I've kind of hit a milestone within the truck, which we just surpassed 20,000 miles. So I'm confident that all the minor gremlins you really need a warranty for to get taken care of, those are all in the past. Yeah? Are you stuck? You gotta unlock the door. I can't do anything for you. The keys are inside this. What's kind of cool about this is they state it actually leaves no traces of tuning and it doesn't modify your PCM at all. Now, the reason we have this is for those 3 reasons I mentioned. I hate the auto start stop, the active fuel management, or the dynamic fuel management, they call it in these new ones, is really annoying. Lastly, these trucks are notorious for lifter failures and bent push rods, essentially blowing the engine. Having something like this will help that, and I'll explain why here in just a minute. But you can also retune the speedometer for different tire size, axle ratios, you can clear DTCs, and do a few other things like adjust the throttle sensitivity. Those we might mess with, and the tire size we will need in the upcoming weeks. Let's go ahead and hop in the cab, get this thing hooked up, and get it tuned. I am so excited to get rid of the active fuel management. I want all 8 cylinders all the time. We have our Pulsar LT. We're gonna open this box and read the instructions for the first time. And I'm actually curious what this module actually looks like. Yes? Here, educate yourself. You know, what's funny about this Pulsar system is I knew little to nothing about it until you guys started reaching out asking if I was eventually going to install one in my truck. I always had the desire to delete the DFM and get rid of this auto start stop. It just so happens that this system does everything and more. It actually underestimated the capabilities of this control module because not only do you have a lot of functions and what you can do with this, it actually installs here under the hood. I thought it went into the OBD2 port. So essentially what we're gonna be doing is removing this stock plug by the air box. We have our aftermarket piece. This is all plug and play. We're gonna plug this one in, run the wires, get the new control module plugged in as well and mounted somewhere on the air box. From there, everything's controllable from the dash. So go ahead and get this unhooked and get the new one installed and we can start playing with these tunes. Okay, also comes with this bracket, which is going to mount up right here where this 10mm is. All right, before we install the aftermarket bracket at the corner of the air box, we're gonna go ahead and wrap all this in insulation tape, similar to what we did with our catch cans. That way it looks more OEM than a bunch of aftermarket wires hanging around, and then we'll get everything plugged in and installed. All right, so the last part here is to figure out where we want to mount up our new Pulsar control module. They recommend on top of the air box. What I'm going to do is actually put the Velcro here on the back, and I'm going to mount it to the back side of the air box. Because I don't want to see a bunch of aftermarket cords going everywhere. That way I can run the cord down low by the air box and put it here on the back side. So if I need it, I have easy access to it. I just can't see it when I pop the hood. We're going to clean off the back side. It's another warm one here in the beautiful state of Texas, but we have everything plugged in, ran through, good to go. There's really no visible difference between this and what it was earlier. The cords are run real low. This bracket does a good job of keeping this thing nice and tight down. This cord's run at the bottom of the air box, and we mounted it to the back side of our colder inductions box. So really it's easily accessible, but you don't see it every time you pop the hood. So we're gonna get this negative side terminal back on. But before we start tuning on this thing, I'm gonna give you one last listen to what this dynamic fuel management system sounds like, because a lot of you guys have reached out. This is one thing I truly don't like, and you guys don't like as well. If you do anything to the exhaust, you can hear that cylinder deactivation constantly, especially coming to a stop. You get that little helicopter noise. Cruising on the highway, you can constantly hear that tone shift. I think all 8 cylinders should be running at all times like 8 cylinders should. Let's hit the road. actually worked really good.
Yeah.
Sadly enough, it was
Okay.
hanging at the back of the tailgate in this private closed course, also known as our neighborhood. Because we're super Gucci, I'm gonna tune this thing in the Walmart parking lot. All right guys, we're gonna do this fairly quickly. So the car is off, 20,034 miles. We just passed that 20,000 mile mark. We're gonna hit and hold the start stop button for about 5 seconds. We're gonna wait till that turns green down there. There we go. Now currently my cruise control is off. And this is how you basically utilize the functionality of this programmer. So what I'm gonna do is hit this cruise control cancel button and hold it. We're gonna see that sweep up to 140. There we go. This is basically now in programming mode. You see there sitting at 10 miles an hour. And as you toggle up, it goes into 20, 30, 40, all the way up to 70. Now these are 7 different functions that this thing has, and this is how you go about programming it. Because I want to disable auto start stop, I'm gonna go up to 60. I'm gonna hit cruise control cancel again. It'll sweep up to 140 and then back again. And it's currently at 0. What 0 means is auto start stop is enabled. In order to disable, you go up to 10, 10, disabled. We're gonna hit that one more time. It's gonna sweep up to 140. Auto start stop disabled. 140. Back down. And now auto start stop is now disabled. That was it. That's how easy it is. So from here, we're gonna hit brake, start the truck, and you're gonna see that this doesn't ever turn on. Ooh, see that blink? Auto start stop is off. It's actually gotten so bad that I was driving the 07 yesterday, the old truck that doesn't have anything like that. And I was coming to a stop, I was actually reaching down and turn it off because that's how much of a habit I've gotten in and how much I hate this thing. All right, last time we are going to disable the dynamic fuel management system. So we're gonna press and hold. We're gonna hold this. It's gonna sweep up to 140. There it is. And we're gonna go all the way up to 70. So there's 70. We're gonna hit this again. Gonna sweep up. All right, so how it works is 0 is active. Now DFM has been disabled. Goodbye. There we are. It's cool how easy this is. It's just ready to go all the time. There's no plugging in OBD2, going through the cycles of on and off. It's ready to go. It's running. We have the AC on. I'm gonna hit up with the cruise control off. There's my throttle sensitivity at 50, at 40, 30. So I'm gonna crank that up to 50 just to mess with my wife. So that's 50. We're gonna let that sweep back down, which will set. All right, DFM is disabled. We have a good old V8 again. And keep in mind, my throttle sensitivity is at an all-time high. Oh, jeez.
Oh, this sounds nice. What did you do to it? The car's in the back of this one.
Okay, killer.
Okay, what did you do to it? I'm really interested.
So when you do this,
Like I barely touch it.
when you do this, it thinks it's this.
But I do that all the time. You gotta put it back a little bit.
Now, the programmer's cool, so everything is just controlled from your steering wheel. All right, so that throttle sensitivity set to 5, bad idea. It's like the one person in your family, everybody has them, the one that can't drive. And it's either like gas, brake, gas, brake. Okay, so your cruise control is off, leave it off. You're gonna hit this down. See that?
Okay.
So go down, down again. You got 20, leave it there, just leave it.
Okay.
All right, it's that easy.
Oh, okay.
Like as you're driving, you're in drive still. That is really cool. I want to mess with them. I am so excited to have all 8 cylinders running all the time and only 8 cylinders running. The throttle sensitivity is kind of silly. Having a sensitivity of 5 is just completely unnecessary. Literally 10% throttle is nearly wide open throttle, and it's miserable to ride in here. But what we're gonna do now is take a quick break because tonight we are in fact heading all the way down to Cowboy Stadium. The Dallas Cowboys preseason game tonight. It's probably be like 120, 130 mile round trip. And when we get back, we'll check that fuel efficiency and see how much it's really been impacted. So guys, feel free to leave the Cowboys hatred in the comments below. Don't hit the thumbs down because it hurts the video. Hit the thumbs up if you don't mind. If you guys are enjoying this so far. Cowboys tonight, get back home. We'll show you what type of mileage we're getting. This has been great so far. I'm loving the system. Morning guys, back the next day, and don't worry, the Cowboys, as always, very consistent at losing. They lost last night. But the truck, the drive there and drive home, it sounds kind of cliche and silly, but it feels completely different. This truck is transformed. All 8 cylinders, all the time. You don't realize how much actually that DFM is kicking in, especially at highway speeds. Torque, immediately, all the time, and exactly when you want it. There's no lag between those cylinders igniting and refiring. It's immediate. It's consistent. There's no helicopter noises when you're coming to a stop. There's no constant fluctuation of that exhaust tone on the highway. I really like this. It's not just because I want you to buy this product. I really don't care if you do, to be honest, but I love it. But the ultimate question is, we've gone about 130 miles to this point. Taking a look here, we've averaged 16.6 miles per gallon, and this is exactly what I was assuming would happen. Obviously, with running on more cylinders all the time, we're using more fuel all the time. And we've now lost 1 mile per gallon with the DFM disabled. It's worth the mile per gallon. If you are doing this, be aware, probably gonna be like 1 to 2 miles per gallon on average. But as always on an early morning, ladies and gentlemen, it is time, yes, there's a lot of good things in this world, and donuts are one of them. But guys, that covers 2 of our 3 things we alluded to earlier in this video. Auto start stop, out of here. And all 8 cylinders are running at all times. Torque on demand, everything's ready to go. It feels like this truck is kind of revived and has more power. Technically it does without that DFM. The third thing I mentioned before, which is a serious condition, which is these premature engine failures that these new GM vehicles are having. Silverado, Sierra, but things you don't think about, the Cadillac Escalade. Anything running those 6.2s are having a lot of issues with bent push rods, early engine failures, or just catastrophic damage. Now, these issues are developing as a result of a few different things, and DFM being one of them. How this DFM system works is you have a solenoid at every cylinder across the engine. This solenoid controls the activation and deactivation of a 2-piece lifter. When you look at this lifter versus a traditional lifter, there's quite a big difference, and when it's activated, it allows the lifter to collapse in on itself, which essentially doesn't allow the camshaft lobe to open the valve, which in the end shuts off the cylinder. Now, from the few techs I've spoken to, these lifters are getting stuck, in which kind of causes a chain reaction all the way through failure. Now, we'll caveat this by saying this is not the only issue that these engines are experiencing. Some of the 6.2s develop a misfire, which leads to the bent push rod. And when these technicians are replacing these lifters, the part going back in is a completely different part number than the one in there currently. So GM has found the issue. My issue is they haven't issued a recall. Understanding it is not a cheap fix and is relatively laborsome, but this is an issue nonetheless. Ultimately, with this DFM system completely deactivated, there's no more shifting in between collapsed lifters and normal operating lifters. They're just going to be operating at all times, which should take away the risk of that issue happening to me. Overall, this Pulsar has a lot more to offer, which I haven't shown you in this video. The throttle sensitivity is interesting, but you can also adjust tire size, axle ratio. There's a lot of other customizable abilities of this Pulsar LT I'm going to need in the future because those tires are getting bigger, the truck's going up, and we got a few other surprises coming for you here in the near future. But I hope you enjoyed this one, guys. Hopefully it was relatively informative or entertaining. If it was, please scroll down and smash that like button below. Helps me out, helps the channel out. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, again, scroll down, join the Lonestar Hawaiian family, subscribe below. If you want to see the behind the scenes stuff, sneak peeks, have that conversation with me on a constant basis, Lonestar Hawaiian on Instagram. But that's gonna do it, guys. I gotta get back inside. We'll see you in a few days for our next video. As always, y'all take care. Hope we hope. Aloha. Issue, but it will also help prevent anything down the road from happening. And how exactly this DFM, I know if you follow me, rods and